didn't have a film lined up for this week's Murder Mystery March. And considering we've already spoken about Scream 1, we've already spoken about Knives Out 1, we've already spoken about Knives Out 2 now. So it's just Scream, and hopefully next week maybe Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Maybe. Who knows?
Let's do it.
Well, we're already on the air.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody.
Not visually.
But they can hear us.
They can hear us.
Okay.
They shouldn't be able to, but they can.
They've broken down that barrier.
Anyway, let's talk to the so-called they and them, because we're not going down that road again.
Nope.
Hello, everyone on YouTube.
Hello. Happy March.
Happy March. We'd like to just say in advance, if you're offended by anything we say here, we're probably not really that sorry. We're actually just really bad, nasty human beings.
You can sue us, but
you wouldn't want to get to know us.
You can sue us, but we're not worth anything, so it's not going to end well.
It costs you more in legal fees, won't it?
It will. Yeah. So it's probably best just to laugh at it and not be offended.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the lighting in the studio, I mean, it's all been put on. It's not. They're not real lights in here. We can't afford it.
Candles.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're continuing Murder Mystery March, aren't we, Dan?
We are.
Yes.
We are. Now, considering the fact that we're still alive, the film I've written has not actually been made yet.
Which is?
It's a murder mystery about what happened to
me,
a movie reviewer.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good original idea.
Thank you very much.
Talk to me more about it after we're off air, because we might be able to...
I want to... it was actually a joke, but I would love to write it for you.
Yes, and I can make it.
Even as a joke, that sounded like a good idea. I'm writing that.
Yeah, and we can make it. That'll be great.
Yep, starring Barry Scott.
Yes, of course. Bang! And the person's killed. Anyway...
I've got the clean version on the CD here. I should remove that.
Yes.
We've gone through...
Don't worry, they can't see it.
We've been talking about my hoarding of crap, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a hamster's away home.
But what you got to remember is, this is my crap. I've still got COVID-19 testing kits. Do you remember when that was popular? I could get money for that on eBay.
There'll be a relic one day.
Yeah. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. But anyway, moving swiftly on. Tommy, reviewing Murder Mystery March, go.
We are talking about Scream 6 this week. It's actually a film that's already in the theatres. Me and producer...
right now?
Yeah, as we speak.
Wow.
Me and producer man Steve went to watch it on Friday night, just to check it out, because we're huge fans of the franchise. As Clue is in the title, this is the 6th film in the franchise. At this point, I know full well what I am getting with these continuous Scream movies. Scream 1 is a masterpiece in genre as a version. Scream 2 is an excellent and original sequel. Scream 3 gets very retconny and annoying. Scream 4 was better than the third and funny. Scream 5 was better than the previous 2. But where does Scream 6 fall into play? Let's find out. I think I preferred Scream 5 to this one slightly, as I think this film has more obvious a plot twist, contains characters behaving terribly out of character at times, and there are people who survive certain injuries that would 100% score a fatality card in the real world. So it's just a bit unrealistic, with some of these death sequences, or not death sequences, as it were. Not to say that there were not things in the film that I didn't like. The continuing of the core 4 characters from the previous film, being Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad, is nice to see, as they have well established these as the new characters to carry the franchise, letting Neve Campbell take a sit out on this one and not fall into the Jamie Lee Curtis, Linda Hamilton trap of overstaying her welcome in a franchise. No insult on Campbell, as she is a great actress, and her reasons for sitting this one out are fair. The film doesn't suffer with her absence that much. Neve Campbell is the protagonist of all of the Scream films, and this is the first film that she isn't in. So it's a big step forward, really, in handing over the baton, as it were.
It really doesn't look like my sort of thing. I'm watching it now as you're talking.
Oh yes, 100% not your cup of tea. Dan.
And I get what you mean about it about a few things not being realistic. I mean, she's got a landline telephone.
Yeah, I know. Oh, are you sure you're watching the right one? You're not watching the original, are you?
No. This is the one. It says
Yep.
this March.
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah.
On the subway. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Well, no, there was a landline. It was probably only on screen for about 3 seconds.
Yeah. The kills were far more gory and intense in this film. As Randy famously said in Scream 2, the body count is always bigger in a horror sequel. More deaths and gore as the core audience just expects it. That's really a rule, really, when it comes to horror sequels.
Yeah, but we're on 6.
Yeah, I know. No, but this is technically a sequel to 5 because 5 was kind of a soft reboot, as it were, with new characters. So we met these new characters first in the previous film. So this is technically their second film, even though it's Scream 6.
Okay, so they just couldn't be bothered to come up with a new name, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Courtney Cox, famous for Friends.
Hey, someone I know. Yay!
She's been in all of the Scream films. She once again returns as Gail Weathers, and one of my biggest issues is that she basically returns to her film 1 self without explanation. She's all about getting the story and seems to have forgotten all of the lessons learned from the previous film. The previous film literally ended with her saying she was not going to write a book about the killers in that film, otherwise they would be immortalised in media. So she was just going to let their name die out and not write a story about them because she's a reporter, you see.
Yep.
But then, wait, let me see. Yeah, first time you see her in this film, you find she did write the story about the killers.
Right.
Completely going against her apparent lesson learned in the previous installment. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's a character growth moment, and then they just backtracked on it in the next film. And it's just like, what's the point? Like these characters haven't learned something each film. Although I will give her character credit for hanging up on Ghostface when the killer is mid talking, which is delivered so brilliantly and is easily the best laugh in the film. Literally, she's talking to the killer, and then she goes, "Can you hold on a moment?" And then you hear him go, like he goes, like because she just hangs up on him halfway through. It's brilliant. Demi Lovato's song that sees out the film's credits isn't as catchy as the Salem Carly Hansen track from the previous song in the previous film. Yeah. But it does have a retro 90s feel to it still, so that's pretty cool. The opening sequence to the film is a great original way to open a Scream film. And I think if they continue making these horror slasher movies in the franchise of Scream, they should always consider first, what have we never seen in a Scream film? Then try it out. For better or worse, take a few more risks. See what happens, It's just better than getting the same old, same old. To close, Scream 6 is my second to least favourite film in the franchise, with Scream 3 still being the worst. But it does offer good laughs, slasher cliches bordering on parody, and inventive gory death sequences to shock the audience old and new. So on that note, Dan, I'm going to give Scream 6 a 3 out of 5.
I would have seen you go lower than that.
Yeah. I mean, I respect the franchise. I'm a fan of the franchise, and ultimately, I don't think I'm ever going to get bored watching a Scream film because I'm so invested.
You're so on the edge. You're so terrified.
There is that, but also it's films about self-aware film people. People who like films, people who talk about films, and that's kind of my jam because obviously doing what I do. So
do you?
Yeah.
I never noticed.
Yeah. I mean, why are we here anyway? No. I think the thing is, like, those characters, I get where they're coming from, but when they reference all these actual films that exist in our real world, they talk about Star Wars and Marvel movies and other horror movies and all those things.
It's a film for the film buffs.
It is 100%. It's definitely made for film buffs out there, and it's kind of like, in a way, the whole franchise is a lesson of what happens when fandom becomes poisonous. Like when someone becomes too obsessed with what they're fangirling about, for example, because these people who become the killers in these movies, they're all about oh my god, I want to make my movie, I'm crazy about film, I'm a film geek,
and we are going to help you with that, Tommy.
Yes, this is not a review, Dan. This is a cry for help.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll get you the support that we need.
But ultimately, 3 out of 5, very standard. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I think Steve producer man Steve didn't like it as much as I did, but I think that's always going to be the case with these Scream films going forward.
Is this a case that if it was on telly you'd watch it?
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
that they'd ever put this on telly when I'm awake, but
yeah. I think I'd definitely check it out if it was on telly. I'd give it a watch again. I definitely want to watch again, and I'm definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out, just to continue my collection.
gotta have them all on the shelf, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm a collector, like, which is one of the facts, I guess, one of the signs of becoming,
Yeah.
one of these horrible fictional killers. So yeah, just keep an eye on me. Make sure I don't, fly off the deep end anytime soon.
Yeah, I'll try and make sure you don't come around and kill us.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, it's good to know that. And of course, the Scream franchise. Now, I remember you telling me, Tommy, ages ago that you're a scaredy cat. Basically, you don't like these sorts of films.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting to hear that you are into these. Is it because of the parody nature, the movie buff nature?
I think so, and I think it's the Scream films to me. They've always been a blend of the horror and the comedy aspect, because it knows these cliches about horror movies. For example, when the killer attacks the girl in a horror movie, she always runs up the stairs and not out the front door. Like the stupid decisions made in these horror movies, and they play with these tropes, and it's very, very smart how they do that. Maybe not so much in the newer ones, but in the original film, it was a product of its time masterpiece, as far as I'm concerned. The first film in the franchise is a 5-star movie for me, as we've discussed before.
As we have.
And it is downhill from the first movie in the franchise, but the first film. I mean, have you? I might need to show you Scary Movie, because
you have already. Do you not remember?
Yes, have I?
This is such a bad confession, but it's fine. We can have this. Do you remember when we whipped the projector out in school? We took it from the cupboard. We probably weren't supposed to. It was a Scary Movie that you put on the screen.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I remember.
And you were telling me about it, and I remember thinking, "Oh God, I'm gonna hate this."
But it was funny.
I didn't really enjoy it as much, to be perfectly honest with you. But I have seen it.
Well, no, I think that was Scary Movie 3 that I lent you. Was it the one with the aliens?
You didn't lend it. We put it on the screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I think I remember lending Scary Movie. I don't think I was in the class with you.
You didn't lend it to me.
No.
This was one of our drama lessons in the dark studio room.
I thought we watched The In-Betweeners. I thought it was The In-Betweeners that we watched.
Was it?
But
you've definitely sat me in front of it. And
I did lend.
Did we do that more than once? Because we
remember
kept going in that cupboard.
I remember it was the last day.
If our teachers are watching this, we are really sorry. Truly, we've grown up since then.
I remember lending Scary Movie 3 to an English class that my mates were in.
Right.
And they watched that then. You might have been in that English class. I wasn't in the same English class as you.
No, I wasn't. I went in that class. No.
Okay.
Every class I was in, the projector never worked. I always kept fixing it.
Well, that chalks up a murder mystery all on its own, doesn't it?
I'll tell you, there's one film we did watch though. I thought was really good. Freedom Writers.
I remember watching that.
You've watched that one.
I remember watching that.
Yeah. The rest of the films I showed you in school were a bit naff, weren't they?
They were. I mean, Of Mice and Men wasn't. It was interesting.
I preferred the book.
We had to study it for English, didn't we, from every angle? But
I got in trouble when I made a comment about the ending, because the way it ended, right, when we were reading it in class, I just turned around, I just out loud, I just went, "Oh, is that it?" And the teacher was like, "No, you got to write about it." I'm like, "Well, I'm not happy with the ending. I might as well have written about Merlin, the TV series. How that ended was just like, oh, okay."
I do think it's
right in the depth of it. Oh, at the end. What? No, you can't leave it there.
Yeah, albeit really funny that, like back then I took it all for granted. I was like, oh God, I'm at school. I don't want to learn about this kind of stuff. But now I would love to sit in English class and learn about like themes and characters' motives and all these different symbolic images for all these stories and characters and everything.
I mean, theoretically, nothing's stopping us from going back into school. We're technically registered students there. That may have been 10 years ago, but we'll just blame it on a computer error.
Yeah, why not? They're probably still stuck in the Stone Age anyway. So
what that we're taller and we look older than the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
And I need glasses to see now, whereas I didn't before.
And we've
flying as a bat.
And
we turn up in a car. Who cares?
Yeah, and we've talked about possibly being murderous psychopaths on air. Yeah, I'm sure they'll let us definitely near a high school, Dan. Yeah, that's a great idea.
No, it's not just a high school.
Our
high school.
Okay.
Oh, technically our building's been destroyed.
It has. It has.
It's now a new building.
Yep.
It's not our high school anymore.
But what about the hell that delves underneath the building? That is still there.
Do you know what else is still there? You know they've converted the old play area into a car park now,
Yes.
right? Still basketball hoops. They're still there.
Still there. They didn't
Still
take them
there.
down. Okay.
They must have thought, oh, this ain't causing any bother. We'll leave it be. They must have done. They must have done. Anyway,
Bizarre.
we've got to go. I'll catch you crazy cats later.
Take care, everybody.